Hi everyone, Allison here from Happily Homeless' Moonstruck. Just checking in with you from Opera in the Ozarks. Dinner is finished in the cafeteria and dress rehearsals are going on for the performances, and all the practice rooms are filled with students singing and playing their instruments. And then other students are just kind of lounging around if they don't have anything they have to be doing at the moment. Here's a fun thing that happened today. Thankfully not to me, and it's like an Alfred Hitchcock nightmare. One of the young women came to me and said that she asked if there was a way to kill scorpions or to keep them away, and besides crosses and silver bullets and stuff. And because she said that last night she's staying in one of the cabins, and she said last night a scorpion had crawled across her face. I know, shudder, frickin' shudder, and had bitten her, and that's what woke her up. And so she doesn't thankfully have any really severe side effects from it. I guess the sting is pretty severe from the scorpions here, but they're not lethal. At least hopefully not to most people. But anyway, so can you imagine that? She had been bitten on the face. It was crawling across her face. That's my worst nightmare. I swear to God, that's why I have all kinds of reasons for not sleeping well. And one of them is, okay, scorpions crawling across me at night, or any of the other wild animal critters, or snakes slithering inside, or even salamanders. And I get that salamanders are okay and all of that. But, like that they're not dangerous and they're more scared of you, blah, 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 blah. But I don't want them crawling across me at nighttime. It would freak me out. So that's one of the reasons I don't sleep real well anymore. Hi, Lori. How are you? It's good to have you here. Hi, Deborah. So, yeah, I told her absolutely I had something. I found a spray. It's for wasps and hornets, but on the bottom it also says that it kills scorpions. So I went and I got the can and I gave it to her, and I said, you can beat it to death with this, or you can spray it, or spray it and then beat it to death, whichever comes first. It doesn't matter. Just kill it, get rid of it. And I know, who doesn't hate scorpions? Ugh. So, and the ones here are only maybe about, with their claws and all of that, maybe about an inch, or maybe the size of a $50. So, but crawling across your face at night, I'd have to leave the country or something. I couldn't even tolerate that. So, and then I did spraying again all around the campus, and I also, this time I didn't just do it around the buildings, but I got around the windows and the air conditioning units, and then one of our people here, one of the staff, she works outside a lot. She's designing the sets, and so she's been getting terrible chigger bites all over her legs, up and down her legs. And so I was spraying the grass even at that point around where she's going to be working. So after I finished, what was it, mowing? Yeah, mowing today and trimming, then I did spraying all over the place. Yeah, I am getting awfully tan, Deborah. And I have sunblock, but I never remember to put it on, and it's kind of hard anyways. And so today I went out and I got some spray-on sunblock, and I don't know if that's as effective. This one is like 80% coverage, or UV protection or something. So I'm going to just put that here in my cart, and I'm going to spray it on every morning, because I do need to be careful, and I know it. With all the sun that I'm getting, I'm very dark. It's not even a farmer's tan at this point. It's except my legs. My legs would be terribly white. I wear leggings every day, and then I wear on some days I wear knee socks over them, like on mowing days. And then my calf-high combat boots, so that I don't get all the insect bites that so many other people are getting. So anyways, yeah, that was the big thing of the day, scorpion bite. So, and then there's a young woman here that I'd met maybe a week ago. She's just a really sweet young woman. And when I met her, she had been asking the story about my Odyssey, so I shared it with her, and then she just made this comment about grief and about how, people try to force it into this linear, compact little package, and it really doesn't fit at all. And when she said that, I knew right away, she had some very close experience of grief, and sure enough, she had. And her dad died 3 years ago, and she's grieving deeply for him. And so today I was outside at lunchtime getting something done down the little gravel road that we have here, and I saw her come out of the cafeteria, and she'd I could see something was up with her. She was kind of just wiping in her eyes a little bit, and so I waited for a second because I didn't want to just go impose myself, but I wanted to be aware of what was going on. And she saw me, and she started heading for me immediately, so I went up and I met her halfway, and she was crying, and she just walked right into my arms, and we just hugged each other, and I knew it was about her dad. And she said, yeah, at lunchtime they were mentioning about, they made a mention about Sunday being Father's Day, and she said it was just too much, and I miss my dad so much and all of that. And so I just hugged her, and then I said, well, let's walk. Let's just walk for a little bit. And so we just walked a little bit, and we talked about grief and her dad, and about Chuck, and pilgrimages and odysseys, and how we remember, and all of the love that's present, and how it's really not enough. It doesn't make up for. You hang on to it because you have to hang on to something, right? You have to have something to keep you living every day, and but it doesn't make up for their physical presence. And I asked her, her thoughts on the afterlife, because I wonder a lot about that, and I don't know what to think. And what's really strange is that out of all of the conversations that Chuck and I had over the years, I can't remember what he said he believed about the afterlife. And I've asked friends, I've asked our kids, did he say something to you? What do you remember? And they don't remember either. And I know whatever omnipotent being there is, he called him God, or him or her, whatever it might be. It's a gender-free, whatever, force. But I know he said the word God, but I don't, he wasn't a heaven and hell type of person. I mean, he was Buddhist. So I've searched a lot since he died, because what if the 24 years I had with him, that we had together, was all that we had, and he's gone, and that's it, and I'll never see him again, and that causes such agony. And so I was talking to this young woman about that, and her thoughts on it, and about an afterlife, and it was just a nice conversation to have when we walked all around the campus, and she cried, and I got choked up, and it was just really nice. And I just think, what, if that's all that I'm here for this summer, to connect with her, then that's okay. We exchanged phone numbers, and I said, look, you call me anytime, day or night, you text me, whatever it might be. And she said, the same goes for you, Allison. And it was so nice before she went back to do her singing, and I said, you just go this afternoon, just go and sing your heart out, and sing for your dad, just sing for your dad, and just make it crystal clear, and as loud, and just project everything. And she hugged me, and it was so nice, and she said thank you to me, and she said, I love you, Allison. And I live for that. That's all I live for anymore, is to know that I've connected with another person, and I've made a good friend here in her, and I know we're going to stay friends. So it kind of takes me back to my days as a bereavement facilitator, when I worked for hospice, and then on my own with Tapestries of Hope, when I went out and started Tapestries of Hope with my friend Elisa, and all those daughters who came into our groups, and all the people who have come through my groups in past years. Just hundreds of them, and So it was really nice. Hi, Linnell. Yeah, Heidi. Hello, Mudda. Hello, Fada. I've got to find that Alan Sherman tune again, and so I can sing it to my kids. I'll FaceTime with them and sing it to my kids. So I wanted to. So that was a really nice happening today with this young woman, and I wanted to say to all of you that is there anything that you'd like to hear me talk about? You know, is there any particular topic? You know, whether it be around grief, about Chuck, about us, about my odyssey of love, about traveling alone on the road, about any of it. Is there anything that you'd like to hear me, any stories you'd like to hear about it? I'm going to do a live feed on Sunday for Father's Day, and I want to talk a little bit about Chuck and how he came to be my kid's dad, and how he was a dad to his own daughter for so many, you know, in spite of the divorce. He was, you know, he wasn't just a part-time dad. He parented, and he, you know, he loved his daughter dearly, as he loved Rachel and Alec and Nick. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about how all of that came about. And so if there's anything in particular that anybody would like to, just anything in particular that you want to hear me talk about, you know, things that you don't know. From Heidi, do you still have a stick and brick? Nope. Chuck and I sold our house in West Hampton, New Jersey in 2009. And when we went on the road as happily homeless, and we never bought another one, and we never had any intention of buying another one once we decided to stay on the road. We always figured that if we settled down, we would just rent somewhere. We didn't want to have the hassle of home ownership, and I certainly don't want that now. I would never, ever, ever again buy a place. At the most, I suppose, if I get old and, I don't know, crazy and can't be on the road anymore, then maybe I'll find a little studio apartment to rent. I wouldn't want anything bigger than a studio either. I don't like big space around me anymore when I'm staying anywhere. I like it small and contained. Like in my trailer, you know, I have everything right at hand that I need, and it's all right there, and that's how and it keeps me from having too much, which I don't want to own things. It's like the emotions are so big in my life, the love and the grief, that I don't have room for physical belongings anymore. So I have a few things, you know, crafty items that I work with, that I use, and my laptop and my clothes, and that's pretty much it. And I'm content with that. So hey, Lindy. So no sticks and bricks. We happily sold that in 2009 in May. We had the closing on May 29th of 2009, and we went from the closing to the truck that we packed and our car, and got in it and never looked back. Didn't look back once. It was like that was in our past. Our community of people were still there, and we went back and we saw our community of people in New Jersey, but we never once missed not one damn thing. Hi, Linda. Oh, geez, you know what I can tell you, Linda? And my heart just goes out to you. Wow, this is, with your husband's death in March, that's brand new. That is so brand new. One thing that I might suggest is stop worrying about moving on, because it's not going to happen. All you need to keep thinking about, and you don't need to think about it now even, but just as long as you're moving, just move your grief. And whether that be going, you know, because you're going out and walking, pushing yourself where you know you can push yourself a little bit to get things done each day that have to get done. Ask for help from people. Don't think you have to do it on your own. There's so many widows and widowers support groups out there too. Connect with other widows and widowers if you haven't already. But don't worry about moving on. People are going to tell you that. God, move on, move forward, you know, move. You know what? Tell them to fuck off. And just do this however you need to do it. And You don't have to give his things away. You don't have to not make big decisions. That's one of the things that they tell you in the first, not just for widows and widowers, but for anybody who's grieving. Don't make any big decisions in the first year afterwards, which is all fun and fine on paper, but sometimes you have to make major decisions right away. There's so many women I know who have to sell the homes that they lived in with their husbands because they can't afford them anymore. And, you know, you hold on to it for a year and you get behind and behind and behind financially. And so sometimes you have to make major decisions in the first year. And I think more times than not, you have to. With me, you know, I had to figure out, well, how am I going to live? You know, we don't have a house. How am I going to do this? And so I had to, and our car wasn't, the car that Chuck and I had was a few years old, already had quite a few miles on it. So I knew that I was going to have to buy a car. And then I bought my trailer and I paid cash for both of them. And I don't know if it was the best decision. I mean, how do we know, other than in hindsight, whether whatever decision we're making is the best one or not? Because you can plan and plan and think you're doing the right thing, and then bam, everything changes and you think, oh, you know what, that wasn't the best decision after all. So you know what, you just do, man, Linda, just, you do this however you need to do it. And unless people are being helpful to you and by being helpful, I mean listening to you when you need to talk, when you need to cry, when you just need them to sit there and be silent. They just need to be with you. They need to walk with you. Like I walked with this young woman today. Just come and walk with me and listen to me, all right? That's good. You know, we don't need, it can't be fixed, right? We all know that. Can't be fixed. There's nothing, when Chuck died, and now, there is nothing anybody can do to fix this, including me, because he's dead. So unless, I don't know, Samantha from Bewitched or I Dream a Genie are going to come and wiggle their nose or blink their eyes and bring him back to me, this cannot be fixed. And so, help me out practically. You know, do things. Come for you, Linda, where if you're living in a house or an apartment, whatever it might be. Come fix things when they break. Bring me a meal. Make sure I'm eating, or at least bring a meal, but don't nudge me to eat, because I may not feel like eating and I might throw it all up. But at least bring food so it's available, because I'm not thinking about eating. And if I do, I'm not thinking about eating healthy food. Run errands for me. Sit with me while I make one phone call a day, that when I'm finished, I'm going to be, you know, in a fetal position on the floor because of how intense the emotions get. The phone calls that we all have to make, and the times, I'm not unusual in this. Over and over and over again, I had to say, my husband died, and I need to do this, I need to close that account, I need to do this, I need to do that. And just saying that, having to say that, it would take me hours to build up to the phone call and days to come out from the trauma of making that phone call. So people sitting with you while you make a phone call, that means everything in the world. People bringing you a gallon of fucking ice cream so you could eat it all in one sitting. How about that? That would help too. You know, listen to your heart, people. Don't listen to your head. You can't fix this. You just can't. So be practical. Be practical with stuff. So Linda, you just hang out here on this page and you tell me whatever you need to tell me that's going on. Message me or anything else, and I'm right here to listen to you and to be here and to witness it all for you, because you need people to witness it all. I don't know. Yeah, it's overwhelming. I find life overwhelming. I really do. Probably a lot of people do. With all of the, there's just continual horrible shit going on, and I don't mean just even ordinary shit, but all the shootings and the terrorism and all of that stuff, and like my safety valve is no longer here. And I feel no sense of security in my world. I feel no sense of steadiness. I'm just kind of floating. I am, and I know it. And you know, good luck to anybody who's, well, you know, you need to focus, you need to do this or that. You know what? Fuck off. I'm not going to. I don't feel able to. I don't have the energy to devote to that. So, you know, that's not one of those helpful suggestions, is it? Helpful suggestion while I'm here would be, oh, look, there's a scorpion. Let me go kill that for you. Oh, look, there's a snake. Let me go hack that one to death for you. You know, that would be the practical thing for while I'm here, is for people killing things for me. There's a young man today, I was emptying the trash out in the cafeteria, and Jesus, I mean, they're like huge. I mean, the trash bins are tall. They probably come about to my waist, and you know, they get very heavy and stuff like that. So I had to knock it to its side so that I could drag the bag out and wrap it up and stuff like that. And I was kind of dragging it to the door, and so he came along. Jesse came along, and he said, before I got to the door, he said, "Can I help you with that?" So I said, "Sure," and he hoisted it up and took it out to the dumpster for me. So I call him my knight in shining armor. He helps me out a lot when he sees me trying to lift heavy things and all of that. And that's nice, you know. It's things like that, because it's things like that that I miss, where Chuck would do things for me and help me with things, and he'd say, "Would you like me to do that for you? Would you like me to help you out doing that?" If I just kind of instinctively tried to do it on my own. And I miss having that person to just be there and do those things for me. So anyways, also, and I wanted to say, any of these videos that you really like that I'm doing, any of these live feeds, please feel free to share them around, because man, the more people I can get to follow me, then the better it will be as I'm building and creating all of this Happily Homeless is Moonstruck, and you know, so that someday I could be either semi-famous or notorious or something. So hi Nora, it's good to see you here. So what questions do you guys have for me that you would like me to answer? You know what I do a lot of lately, and I'm sure you notice it, it's I just kind of, my mind just stops and I just wander. I'm thinking so much about Chuck these days in different ways, and I'm remembering back to all of the passion we shared, and how deeply he loved me and how deeply I loved him, and I'm remembering times that I haven't remembered before. A lot of the, like for the first 2 years, it was like the instant he died, 11/21 on April 21st of 2013, that instant that he died, it's like everything, my mind, like I forgot everything that we'd ever done together. Like all my memories went. I couldn't remember a damn thing of all of our lives together, to the point that I thought, was it just a dream? Like, was it in my imagination? Did I only imagine our 24 years together? I couldn't remember a damn thing, and so and it went on like that for 2 years. I kept on trying to remember, and when I looked at pictures, then oh yeah, okay, I remember that. But without looking at a picture to remind me, I had nothing in my head, and I'm still trying to remember those things, and some of it's slowly coming back, and that was very painful to think, wow, was he only a figment of my imagination? I mean, a wonderful figment if that's what it was, but and so sometimes now I just kind of zone out. I know that the professional term for that is a 1,000-yard stare, and I find myself doing that more and more as I'm just thinking back and remembering back about what it felt like to have him next to me. I was the most fortunate of women for all of those years. So, but anyways, all right, well, look, post any questions you have, anything you might like me to talk about, and And I'll be definitely, on Sunday, I'll be doing a live feed for Father's Day and talking a little bit about Chuck and how he became a dad to my kids, and kind of the beginnings of our love story. And what a love story it was. So I will catch up with all of you later. But once again, please feel free to share any of these videos around. And, you know, if I can, you know, other widowers, anybody that you feel might be, that it might help them a little bit in hearing what I have to say. Not that it's the most important thing in the world, but at least I talk honestly, right? So, let's see. Yeah, Linda. All right. I'm so glad to have you along for the ride. Phyllis, she says, "You're so brave." You know, I don't know if it's brave or just plain out determined. Because I don't know how, you know, I mean, what are we supposed to do? You know, I don't know what else to do. I'm still alive, so I have to make a living, and I don't want to do it the ordinary way, and I'm living in a trailer, and so then, you know, I find these work camping gigs, but I don't know, maybe brave. If it's like John Wayne says, courage is being afraid and saddling up anyways. Then, and I've saddled up every day, no matter what. But I do all of it while I'm feeling all this too. It's like two people, right? I'm two people. I'm all the one out there doing all of this stuff, and then, but I could be talking about anything and smiling and laughing, and every bit of it, I'm still thinking about Chuck and him not being here, and it's like everything now that happens in my life comes from that point. It comes from the point of his absence, and but I thank you for your words. I'm just suiting up and showing up like Chuck used to tell all his sponsees. Suit up and show up and let the day unfold. And so I do that, and I do it in his memory and his honor, and I do it so that I can love for him too, since he's not here to do it any longer. So, and I get emotional every time I talk about him. More so now than when he first died even. So, anyways, I thank all of you for joining in, and welcome to those of you who are new here to my page. And I'll catch up with you during the week at some point too. I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. Thunderstorms expected tonight. I figure the wrath of God thunderstorms that are going to, you know, reverberate, the sounds of it are going to reverberate through the mountains here. We'll see if I have to take refuge somewhere. But so anyways, thank you all, and good night, and sweet dreams. And the sun is setting here in the Ozarks, at Opera in the Ozarks. So this is Allison signing off. Ti amo.